Welcome to Eternal Elements Learning Podcast, brought to you by Tiasa Online. These podcasts are a part of the audio certificate programs on Tiasa Online. You're free to take these podcasts on your desired portal also, should you only wish to learn on the go. Thank you so much for engaging on these podcasts, and you can connect with the author on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Hi, welcome back. This is Niket Karajagi on Tiasa Online for Eternal Elements, talking about leadership frameworks, the essentials of leadership. One of the workshops that I was conducting, I was talking about leadership, and one of the participants asked me this question: what is the difference between a transactional leader and a transformation leader? Now, this question is very interesting because transactional leaders are starkly different from transformational leaders. So what do transactional leaders do? Let's understand that first. But before we get into transactional leadership, let's understand what is the concept of a leadership triangle. A leadership triangle comprises of the leader at the top of the triangle, the follower at one end of the triangle on the base, and the environment on the other extreme of the triangle on the base. So you have the leader, you have the follower, and you have the environment. These are the three factors at play, and they're interacting with each other. The leader is interacting with the environment, the leader is interacting with the follower is interacting with the leader, and the follower is also interacting with the environment, and the environment is interacting with the leader and the follower. So if you look at it, it's a combination of play between these three factors. So what does a transactional leader do? In the style of transactional leadership, there's an exchange between the leader and the follower. The follower primarily gains materially. Remember, we talked about the material needs in the relationship in the series 1 of the Eternal Elements. That's precisely what a transactional leader works for. So in this transactional leadership, in this style, there's an exchange between the leader and the follower. The follower receives wages or prestige for complying with the leader's wishes. So it's a master-servant relationship. The leader obtains cooperations from the follower by offering something in exchange, of course. And the follower accepts the leader because they have something to gain. So if you look at it, in a transactional leadership, it's something which is happening completely at the transactional level. There is no specific other set of needs that are being accomplished. Now, transactional leadership does not really form any exciting relationship because there's nothing great being achieved. If you look at the neural pathways, everything is a task. Therefore, the brain is not operating at its peak. The brain is actually operating at the task network, and therefore work goes on, no problem at all. And that's when the whole idea of transformation leaders came in, because these were a set of leaders who started delivering superior results. When the study was done on the transformation leaders as to what are they doing, they came out a very clear 4 components to transformational leadership. Now, the 4 components were, the first one was the component of charismatic leadership, which is also called idealized influence in transformation leadership. Now, what is charismatic leadership all about? The leader acts as a role model to the team. There's an awe about the leader. The leader is operating as a magnet. Everybody wants to work with the leader. The followers also recognize that the leader has extraordinary capabilities, persistence, and determination, and they just love it. They want to emulate this leader, and that's what it is about being a charismatic leader. Charisma in management has been a very difficult proposition to define because there is a component which is mystical in the charismatic leadership. The evolution of consciousness of this particular leader is of a heightened level, because of which this leader provides a whole lot of energy to the team. So the first facet is charismatic leadership. The next one is inspirational motivation. Now here, what is the leader doing? The leader provides meaning and challenge. Remember, we talked about sense of purpose when we started the leadership essentials part in the season 1. This person really creates the sense of purpose in the team, which brings the team together. It is motivated to perform, and he operates on the vision of the future. This particular leader is not only creating vision in the mind of each team member, but is also ensuring that collectively effectively, they're able to practice the organization's vision. Now, the visions could be parallel tracks, like we said before, but again, it's a train that reaches the destination. So these are visions that get created, which are individual visions, and under the inspirational motivation, the transformational leader is then able to motivate people, influence people to deliver superior results. The third facet is intellectual stimulation. Remember, in the need of relationships, we talked about an intellectual need that people tend to have. Now, what is the leader doing here? He's operating as a coach, he's questioning the old assumptions, and he's also ensuring that he's coaching to bring ideas out of the team, and he's getting creative solutions out of the team. He's not the one who's giving solutions to the team, he's actually encouraging the team to come up with a solution. So he's actually operating as a non-directive coach here. He's not telling people what to do, but he's actually getting things out of them. Individualized consideration is the last facet of transformational leadership. In this, what is the leader doing? In this, the leader attends to each follower, operating as a direct coach and a mentor to the individual, so that the individual demonstrates very superior patterns of leadership, and he actually coaches them and makes them autonomous in nature. He empowers them completely. So if you look at transformation leadership, what's happening is he's ensuring that the neural pathways fire full time and the brain is operating in the default mode network. So what is transformational leadership all about? It's about charismatic leadership. It's about inspirational motivation. That means he's inspiring the teams through the vision. And there is an intellectual stimulus. He's operating as a coach. And there is an individualized consideration where he's operating as a mentor also. That means in inspirational motivation, he's operating as a non-directive coach where he's allowing the team to come up with ideas. And in the intellectual, after the intellectual stimulation is done, he's also ensuring individualized consideration where he's actually doing direct coaching and mentoring also to ensure that the team is groomed up, each and every person in the team become autonomous in nature. So there are two levels of coaching that the transformational leader is doing. First, a non-directive coaching where he's not actively involved, therefore it's intellectual stimulation to the team members to think. He's just providing inputs and facilitating the ideas to happen, but it's not really giving any ideas. But he's also doing directive coaching under individualized consideration, where in order to accomplish the vision, the wisdom, the skill sets and the competence is being transferred to each team member, so that the team member becomes empowered to deliver performance. So what is transactional leadership? Primarily, transaction is I give you something and I take something back in return, or I get something back in return. But transformational leadership comprises of charismatic leadership, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individualized consideration. With these four functions or forms of transformation leadership, leaders inspire their followers to transcend their interests and limitations and become extremely effective, and they collectively achieve the goals. They are no longer operating at an individual level. So that's about transformational leadership. And that's where the answer for the difference between transactional and transformation leadership got answered. I think in the 21st century, it is the responsibility of each leader to evolve to become a transformational leader and ensure that the teams deliver very superior performance, because in the 21st century, with the digital age coming into play, the teams are going to shrink. They're going to be very, very flexible and agile in nature. Speed is the factor that's associated with it. And therefore, transformational leadership is the thing that leaders in the today's world have to practice. This is Niket Karajagi signing off for this podcast, and I'll see you in the next podcast for sure. Thank you once again for your attention.